Friday, the Nobel Committee made the following announcement.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
Nonsense. Bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Come on, nobody likes a sore loser.
The Trump administration, Tina, they paint a picture of lawlessness and complete chaos, that we, all of us, are overwhelmed by the facts on the ground. And all he's doing is advancing the fundamental paradigm of law and order, and it's remarkable that we're not.
In a presidency that plays out like primetime spectacle rather than public service, the U.S. president stands as both star and spin doctor. Jimmy Kimmel and Gavin Newsom don't just mock the madness, they expose the chaos behind the choreography. Each headline becomes another act in a political circus, where Trump turns governance into performance, juggling scandals with the flair of a showman who confuses attention with achievement.
By the way, Caroline Levitt on Air Force One yesterday, not only did Trump decide to poll the reporters on whether or not she should be allowed to keep her job, he took a little tour through Creepy Town, too.
How's Caroline doing? Is she doing good? Should Caroline be replaced?
No. That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to. I said she does a great job. Thank you. Do you want to elaborate on the
And those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
You upset, Governor?
Well, how can you not be? I've got 4 kids. 80% of their toys under their Christmas tree come from China. I've got family members living paycheck to paycheck. Many family members. My mom, who passed away years and years ago, was one of them. I mean, no rationale, no plan.
Kimmel wastes no time noting that Trump's presidency has become the longest-running improv act in political history. Each morning begins with an unscripted performance, leaving the world to wonder if it's governance or just another episode of America's Got Tantrums. Newsom joins in, quipping that Trump treats policy briefings like open mic nights, tossing out half-baked ideas and calling them innovation. The contrast between leadership and improv, Kimmel reminds us, is simple: one demands preparation and foresight. And we all know which one Trump decided to skip.
I mentioned last week the Norwegian government, they have one, by the way, the Norwegian government, they was worried about Trump retaliating against them if he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. And the woman who did win, Maria Corina Machado, was maybe a little nervous about it too, because she felt the need to call him about it.
The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. Very nice.
While past presidents handled crises.
While past presidents managed crises with calm speeches and careful planning, Trump treats chaos as his comfort zone. His strategy is simple: light a fire, act shocked, then hold a press conference praising himself for spotting it. The result is a government spinning in endless circles, powered not by purpose but by his insatiable need for attention. Kimmel nails it perfectly: a presidency fueled by caffeine, ego, and denial, where every scandal becomes fresh content and every outrage the next big marketing campaign.
This is a hot mic situation from the ceasefire ceremony in Egypt yesterday. Listen in as the president of Indonesia hits Trump up for an in with his kids. It's the first time anyone has ever asked to meet Eric. It's exciting. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy.
Newsom shakes his head at how Trump has turned the White House into a stage for self-congratulation. He celebrates surviving crises of his own making, taking victory laps around disasters and declaring wins amid losses. Somehow, he convinces millions that the chaos trailing behind him is modern art. His leadership style isn't that of a commander-in-chief but of a man who crashes a wedding, grabs the microphone, and proudly takes credit for the cake he didn't bake.
No consideration of congressional responsibility. Where the hell is Congress? Where the hell is Speaker Johnson? Do your job. They're sitting there passively as this guy wrecks the economy in the United States of America, which has dominated the global economy. Don't take my word for it. The Wall Street Journal. We are the envy to the world. And overnight, a wrecking ball to America's reputation, our role.
Kimmel dives into the absurdity of Trump's relationship with truth, where facts bend like gymnasts on command. Reality isn't something to respect, it's something to rewrite. When facts don't fit, he simply edits the story, trusting that half the audience won't fact-check the script. Newsom adds that under Trump, the nation runs less on logic and more on performance. The line between politics and parody has completely vanished, and somehow, the parody feels like the more believable version of reality.
That's a nice thing for the person who got the Nobel Prize to do today. I don't know why they gave this to me. It should have gone to you, Mr. President. So now Trump's focused on winning the prize next year, which is fine. Let him keep trying to make peace. I'm fine with coming up with prizes and trophies to motivate him. Giving them the Nobel.
Every policy rollout under Trump feels less like governance and more like a chaotic reality show. Infrastructure Week turns into Infrastructure Year. Trade talks devolve into trade tantrums. International summits resemble group therapy sessions, except Trump somehow manages to be both the patient and the problem. He negotiates like a man haggling at a flea market, barges into alliances like a bull in a china shop, and calls it diplomacy when he accidentally stumbles into success. His foreign policy seems guided not by strategy but by whatever makes the loudest noise on cable news. Kimmel marvels at how Trump manages to make incompetence look intentional. He blunders forward with such confidence that even his missteps appear rehearsed. His administration operates like a revolving door of chaos, each resignation spun as a masterstroke, every firing rebranded as a strategic move. Under Trump, people don't quit, they get promoted to freedom. It's a presidency where failure becomes branding, crisis turns into content, and every controversy is repackaged as campaign material. It's not leadership, it's marketing at maximum volume. Newsom smirks at the irony. For a man so obsessed with projecting strength, Trump's presidency is built entirely on fragility. Every criticism becomes an existential threat, every late-night joke a national emergency. He governs with the emotional stability of a Wi-Fi signal, strong for a moment, then gone exactly when it matters most. When faced with ridicule or resistance, Trump doesn't just respond, he detonates. The fallout is always redirected, the blame always reassigned. Together, Kimmel and Newsom expose a political reality where chaos is both strategy and spectacle. In Trump's America, the line between governing and performing has vanished, and the show, no matter how absurd, must always go on.
The president has ever been more committed to peace, and he's arresting all the rabble-rousers to prove it.
We have arrested dozens of individuals that are Antifa members or affiliated with them, and I want to thank our Attorney General for prosecuting them and making sure they never see the light of day again.
That's just the Secretary of Homeland Security suggesting we lock up American.
Sheer number of controversies has numbed the nation. What once felt unthinkable now feels routine. The bar for shock isn't just low, it's buried underground. Trump's chaos has become so predictable it could be listed on a TV schedule, same time, every day, a brand new catastrophe. Newsom highlights Trump's strange talent for turning every serious issue into an act of self-promotion. No matter the tragedy, the narrative circles back to him. He recounts the nation's struggles like a memoir, positioning himself as hero, victim, and narrator all at once. Leadership, under Trump, is rewritten as storytelling, America reduced to a supporting role in The Trump Show, a never-ending saga no one asked for but can't seem to switch off. Kimmel leans into the absurd theater of Trump's public appearances, describing his rallies as concerts for confusion, complete with chants, callbacks, and dramatic encores. His speeches loop endlessly, repeating slogans and half-formed thoughts until fact and fiction merge into noise. Facts vanish mid-sentence, replaced by whatever narrative flatters him most. Problems aren't addressed, they're repackaged as opportunities for applause. The crowd doesn't come for policy or plans, they come for the performance. And Trump delivers every time, transforming governance into entertainment, outrage into rhythm, and power into parody. Under his watch, politics isn't about progress, it's about staying on stage, no matter how incoherent the show becomes.
Being of healthcare, Trump got a physical on Friday, and good news, his blood pressure, cholesterol, and genius are all stable. His doctors say he's in excellent health and fully capable of continuing to make sure that millions of his fellow Americans aren't. Interestingly, the White House doctor left Trump's weight off the report. Usually they put the weight. Instead of his weight, he wrote that Trump...
Newsom observes that the real tragedy isn't just the absurdity, it's how easily it's been normalized. A nation once defined by decorum now measures leadership by volume. The louder Trump shouts, the louder his base cheers, mistaking noise for strength and volume for vision. Outrage has become a governing tool, with chaos repackaged as policy. The Oval Office now echoes with self-congratulation, where the only rule is simple: Trump must always be the loudest voice in the room. Kimmel jokes that if chaos were an Olympic sport, Trump would win gold, and then insist he invented the Olympics. He moves from one scandal to the next like a stuntman in a perpetual crash scene, somehow emerging unscathed every time. Investigations, criticism, even reality itself fail to penetrate his bulletproof confidence. Not because it's grounded in truth, but because it's sealed within delusion. He's not leading the country forward, he's spinning it in circles and calling the motion progress. Newsom adds that Trump's obsession with loyalty overshadows competence at every turn. In his administration, expertise is optional but devotion is mandatory. The government functions less like an institution and more like a fan club, where flattery outranks facts and dissent equals betrayal. Those who question him are swiftly recast as villains in his ongoing drama. It's not management, it's monarchy masquerading as democracy, powered by sycophancy and fear. The result is a leadership team that agrees on everything yet understands nothing.
It's about the United States of America. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in the red states. He's going after, he's a war. He's a wartime president. He's the head of a war party. War on women, war on voting rights, war on Hispanics, a war on this state, war on institutions, war on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American people? He put military in the streets, not of Baghdad. He didn't send the military in his first administration anywhere in the world. He sent the United States Marines into the United States of America in one of the bluest cities in this country, in Los Angeles, one of the great cities, American cities. That's what Donald Trump did. He is a wartime president.
Kimmel laughs at how Trump approaches global diplomacy like a celebrity feud, turning international relations into a tabloid soap opera. Every summit feels like a reality TV reunion, complete with public insults, dramatic reconciliations, and surprise betrayals. He treats world leaders like contestants on The Apprentice, Global Edition. Some get roses, others get rage tweets. Global stability seems to hinge on his mood, which shifts faster than the White House staff roster. The unpredictability isn't strategy, it's theater. What should be careful diplomacy becomes showmanship without substance, driven by impulse and applause. Newsom points out that Trump's economic policies often sound like they were brainstormed on a golf cart between rounds. Numbers are optional, consequences irrelevant, and slogans sacred. He sells prosperity like a magician sells illusions: distract the audience long enough, and they'll applaud before realizing their wallets are lighter. Every tax cut comes with hidden costs. Every tariff tantrum leaves middle-class Americans footing the bill for the encore. The economy, once a measure of national health, becomes a stage prop, less about growth, more about optics. As long as it looks good on TV, it must be working. Kimmel shakes his head at the irony. Trump built his brand as a master dealmaker, yet under his leadership, deals dissolve faster than his speeches. Negotiations derail, trade agreements crumble, and long-standing alliances fracture under the weight of ego and improvisation. He talks about winning so often that no one stops to notice how much he's actually losing. In Trump's world, success isn't measured by outcomes but by airtime. Results are irrelevant if the ratings are high. It's not governance, it's performance art. And for Trump, the only real measure of progress is how loud the applause sounds when the cameras start rolling.
And then it was Trump's turn to ratchet up the rhetoric with fiery images conjured from no one has any idea where.
One thing I have to say is that Washington, D.C. was almost as bad. I don't know what could be worse than Portland. You don't even have sewers anymore. They don't even put glass up. They put plywood on their windows.
Poor people, they look out the window, they see wood. They don't have glass. I don't know what's scarier, the idea that he's making this all up or that he might actually believe this stuff. There are no stores in Portland. It's as if he's getting his intelligence briefings from reruns.
Newsom notes that Trump's version of patriotism feels less like leadership and more like brand management. Flags, slogans, and hats replace substance. He wraps incompetence in nationalism and sells it as authenticity, turning governance into a merchandising campaign. National challenges, healthcare, infrastructure, education, are reduced to catchy slogans that vanish after the photo op. It's a presidency powered by performance and preserved by denial. America doesn't get policies, it gets punchlines, wrapped neatly in red, white, and blue packaging designed to distract from the emptiness beneath. Kimmel describes Trump's communication style as a masterclass in confusion, sentences built from spare parts, assembled mid-speech. Each thought begins with confidence, veers into chaos, and collapses wherever his attention span gives out. Coherence is optional, spectacle is mandatory. The message itself rarely matters, it's the moment that counts. The administration doesn't plan, it reacts, loudly and theatrically. Crisis management has been reimagined as performance art, where optics outweigh outcomes and volume substitutes for vision. Trump governs like a man improvising a play he never rehearsed but insists he wrote. Kimmel finds it astounding that Trump continues to market himself as the ultimate success story while surrounded by the debris of broken promises. Every policy, project, and pledge seems to unravel, yet somehow he spins the wreckage into victory. He's a master illusionist, performing political sleight of hand, making accountability vanish while convincing the audience it was never there to begin with. His resilience doesn't come from competence or consistency, it's born from shamelessness, a refusal to acknowledge defeat. In a world where most leaders fear failure, Trump has turned it into a brand. The ability to crash spectacularly and still claim triumph might just be his only true genius.
After I sign these two pieces of legislation establishing a special session and the maps, I also will be signing a proclamation on November 4th, the people of the state of California, in a transparent and, as the Speaker and Pro Tem said, temporary and democratic way, will have the opportunity to determine their fate in our collective.
Kimmel can't help but marvel at how Trump's version of leadership has become a masterclass in recycling chaos. Every controversy is repackaged as a new storyline, every scandal rebooted like a tired sitcom with a fresh cast of enablers. What should have been lessons turn into sequels, and what should have ended long ago somehow finds its way back on air. The absurdity isn't accidental, it's the formula. His presidency runs on the principle that if the news never stops, the truth never settles. Chaos isn't the byproduct, it's the business model, thriving precisely because people can't look away. Kimmel likens it to a magician performing the same trick for years while convincing the audience it's always new. Each blunder becomes a moment of reinvention, every backlash a chance to rebrand. The scandals change names, but the script remains the same. The show never stops, it just shifts sets and slogans. The spotlight clings to him not because of accomplishment, but because of the sheer force of his noise. It's political endurance disguised as charisma, a never-ending audition for relevance where failure feeds the fame, and chaos is the only constant that keeps the cameras rolling.
That wasn't the only thing we got. We also got a very special report filed by J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
This is J.B. Pritzker reporting from war-torn Chicago. As you can see, there's utter mayhem and chaos on the ground. It's quite disturbing. The Milwaukee Brewers have come in to attack our Chicago Cubs. We've seen people being forced to eat hot dogs with ketchup on them. And our deep dish pizza, well, has gone shallow. So it's a challenge to survive here in the city of Chicago, but there's no hellscape that I'd rather be in.
Well, thank you, Governor. And please know that you and the Cubs.
Newsom reflects on how Trump has fundamentally reshaped the public perception of power. The presidency, once grounded in restraint, decorum, and duty, has been transformed into a spectacle of excess. He's replaced diplomacy with drama, facts with feelings, and leadership with performance. His approach to governance follows the logic of reality television: if people are still talking, you're still winning. Results don't matter as long as the ratings do. The nation isn't being led, it's being managed like an audience, conditioned to react rather than think. Newsom points out that even Trump's critics have become part of the show. Every insult, every rebuttal, every flash of outrage feeds the same machinery that keeps him at the center of attention. He's turned opposition into oxygen. The more people push back, the stronger his spectacle becomes. The tragedy isn't merely that he commands attention, it's that attention itself has become the only currency that counts. In this environment, outrage isn't resistance, it's advertising. Kimmel shakes his head at the irony of it all. Trump, a man obsessed with control, thrives most in disorder. He doesn't lead through stability, he leads through noise. The louder the chaos, the more powerful he appears. His empire runs not on trust or truth but on sheer volume, where applause and outrage blend into the same soundtrack. In this world, the truth doesn't vanish, it simply gets drowned out. Newsom offers a final reflection. Trump hasn't just changed politics, he's rewritten it as pure performance. The presidency is no longer about governing a country, it's about keeping the spotlight burning. As long as the cameras keep rolling and the lights stay hot, the chaos continues on repeat, with Donald Trump eternally center stage, refusing to let the curtain fall, because for him, the show must always go on.